Week 2 of the NFL season is in the books. Here's how I did last week. Welcome to this week's episode of Big Predictions. Well, 2 weeks down here in the NFL season, and it's been a pretty interesting 2 weeks, I must say. And for some teams, it's definitely a season that I expected them to have, and for some, definitely a season I did not expect them to start out with. So, here's how I did in Week 2. My Week 2 record was 11-5. Not a bad record at all for Week 2, which brings my overall record from the past 2 weeks to 20-12. 20 wins, 12 losses on the season. Been a really good second week for me. And on your screen now will come up of all the games that I got right and wrong this week. You can pause it if you want to. The ones in green are the ones I got right. The ones in red are the ones I got wrong. Alright, we move on to Week 3 now. Still no teams on bye weeks, only the third week. I think bye weeks start next week. So we start with the first game, the Thursday night game between the Texans and the Patriots. The Texans, they've had two pretty good wins, 2-0 on the season. The Patriots, same. Even though a big story out of there, Garoppolo went down with an injury in the third quarter on Sunday against Miami. He has a sprained AC joint in his shoulder. Last I heard, I think he was going to be out at least a couple weeks. So we'll see how that goes. But then again, this Thursday's game is in New England. And as much as I hate to say it, you never go against New England in New England. So I'm going to take the Patriots against the Texans. Definitely going to be an interesting quarterback situation. Stay tuned to any of your sports media outlets to hear the quarterback situation out of there. We go to the Sunday games now. The Cardinals and the Bills. The Bills starting off 0-2 on the season. Not a good start for them. And the Cardinals 1-1. Got a big win over Tampa Bay. So I'm going to take the Cardinals in this one. Not very difficult decision. In the next game, we got the Raiders and the Titans. The Raiders lost a close one against Atlanta, and the Titans got a very close win against Detroit. So I'm going to take the Raiders in this one. There's been a lot of talk about how well the Raiders could be this season, so I think they're going to get their second win of the season. We go on to the Redskins and the Giants. The Redskins, not very good start of the season out of there. 0-2, not a very good start for them. There's been some talk about, the locker room, the Redskins locker room starting to turn on Kirk Cousins. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of there. And their team they're facing, the Giants. Giants starting off 2-0 for the first time since 2009, and very, very good start of them. On Sunday, the defense looked good. The offense could use some improvement. The offense didn't score, but they had some big defensive plays, and came down to a field goal in the end, but they still came away with the win. So I'm going to take the Giants in this one. They had the 2 wins on the season. The Redskins have not been looking that good. So the Giants over the Redskins. The next game, the Browns and the Dolphins. One of these teams has not won a game yet this season. So one of these teams will get their first win. And the Browns, RG3, of course, out. Other than their backup quarterback, I think Josh McCown, I think he went down as well this past weekend. So I don't know what their quarterback situation is at the moment. You'll probably find it on ESPN somewhere. But, and the Dolphins almost had a big comeback against New England this past weekend. Came up short. I'm going to take the Dolphins in this one. They lost a couple close ones. So I'm going to take the Dolphins over the Browns. The next game, the Ravens and the Jaguars. The Ravens, they've Cleveland this past weekend. After being down, they had a pretty good comeback. So and the Jaguars, they got blown out by the Chargers. I did not expect that. Not good. But I'm going to take the Ravens over the Jaguars. The Jaguars, they looked like crap on Sunday. The Ravens, they looked alright. So the Ravens over the Jaguars. We go to the Lions and the Packers. Both of these teams coming off losses. The Lions came up 1 point short against the Titans, and the Packers came up 3 points short in their Sunday night game. But I'm going to take the Packers in this one. There's been some talk about whether Aaron Rodgers has become a mediocre quarterback, which I don't think one loss can define how bad he's gotten. It's going to take a lot more than that to see if he's actually gotten that bad. In my opinion, Aaron Rodgers is still a elite quarterback, and he always will be. So, the Packers over the Lions. The next game, the Broncos and the Bengals. The Broncos defense was stunning against the Colts on Sunday. You know, they had a fumble return for a touchdown, a pick six, looked great. And the Bengals, they lost a close one against Pittsburgh off a controversial fumble, and that's probably what cost them the game, was that fumble. And so I'm going to take the Broncos over the Bengals. The Bengals 1-1, the Broncos 2-0. Broncos over the Bengals. The next game, the Vikings and the Panthers. Both of these teams getting some big wins. The Vikings got the win over Green Bay on Sunday night. And the Panthers got a big win over the 49ers. I'm going to take the Panthers. The Panthers, in my opinion, are still a very good football team. And yeah, they lost to Denver in week 1 to find their season. There's still a lot of season left to play. I'm taking the Panthers over the Vikings. Next game, the Rams and the Bucks. The Rams, I see one only team that Seattle cannot beat is the Rams. Then again, the offense for both teams sucked. So, I mean, 9-3 a final score. Are you kidding me? What? Come on. So anyway, the Rams, you know, they got the win, but they're still not that good. They scored 9 points in 2 weeks. 9 points in 2 weeks. Come on. So I'm going to take the Buccaneers. You know they kind of got destroyed by Arizona, but they did have a big win on week 1. So I'm going to take the Bucs over the Rams. The next game, the 49ers and the Seahawks. Another NFC West matchup. You know, another chapter in the big 49ers-Seattle rivalry. I'm going to take the Seahawks in this one. They did look like shit on Sunday, but you know what? The 49ers still not that good, so I'm going to take the Seahawks over the Niners. The next game, the Jets and the Chiefs. The Jets, yeah, they're 2-0, but I think the Chiefs are a better football team. Yeah, they lost this past week, but I still think they're the better team. And the Jets, well, they've looked pretty good too, so it's going to be interesting, but I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one. Like I said, it's going to be a very close game in my opinion, but the Chiefs over the Jets. The next game, the Chargers and the Colts. The Chargers actually look decent against Jacksonville. Then again, it's Jacksonville, and they've only looked good, you know, a couple times a season. So, I'm going to take the Colts in this one, because the Colts, you know, they did lose a pretty close one against the Broncos. So, I'm going to take the Colts over the Chargers. The Chargers are still not that strong. In the next game, the Steelers at the Eagles, the battle of the two Pennsylvania cities. I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. The Steelers have looked really good, off to a 2-0 start. The Eagles, they're also off to a 2-0 start. So the Eagles don't look too bad. Carson Wentz is looking really good. But I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. You know, they're still one of the favorites to win the AFC. So I'm going to take the Steelers over the Eagles. And then in the Sunday night game, it's the Bears and the Cowboys. Pretty shitty game, I think. You know, the Bears, Jay Cutler went down with an injury last night in the Monday night game. I think the last I checked, he was like a sprained thumb or something. I mean, come on, Jay. What the hell's the matter with you? And then the Cowboys won a close one against the Redskins on Sunday. You know, Dak Prescott, you look good. Ezekiel Elliott looked good. But I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one. The Bears, they're still not a very good team. Jay Cutler's still being way overpaid for a mediocre quarterback that he is. So I'm going to take the Cowboys over the Bears. And the final game of Week 3, the Falcons and the Saints on Monday night. Both teams, Falcons are 1-1. The Saints are 0-2. That's something I did not expect with the Saints to start 0-2. But I'm going to take the Saints in this one. The Saints have definitely looked like a better football team. They still looked like a better football team than the Falcons have. So I'm going to take the Saints over the Falcons. Coming onto your screen in a moment will be the list of all the games this week. The teams highlighted in orange are my picks. You know, pause that if you just want to review. That's my Week 3 predictions. Like I said, it's going to be a pretty good Week 3. This NFL season is taking really good shape right now. As always, a new NFL episode coming out every Wednesday. You know, also the MLB season is coming to an end pretty soon, so I will be doing my playoff predictions starting when the playoffs start. So look for those, and until next time, guys, thank you for watching. Remember to hit that like button and that subscribe button. Until next time, so long, everybody.